Those books on your shelf, the podcasts you listen to, the gurus you follow. What if I told you that those that got you this far are now your biggest roadblock?
To really get this, we have to go way back to an ancient story. One you probably think you already know, the wedding at Cana. Believe it or not, the entire key is hidden right in there. The guy running the party is just stunned. Everybody knows you serve the good stuff first, while people can still appreciate it. But here, everything's backward. The best, most miraculous wine shows up at the very end when nobody expects it. That little detail, that's everything.
So what in the world does an old wedding story have to do with your career, your ambitions, your life right now? Let's bring this home.
Every single win you've had, every promotion, every goal you've smashed, every great relationship you've built, all the wisdom you've picked up along the way, all of that, that was just the first wine they served at the party. It was good for sure, but it wasn't the best. It's a tough pill to swallow, right? On one side, you've got everything you're so proud of. And on the other, this story is calling it the cheap wine. But hang with me here. That's not an insult to what you've done. It's actually a promise. Because here's the kicker. If everything you've accomplished so far was just the cheap stuff, well, that means the best, most profound, life-changing wine is still on its way. In fact, it's already here, just waiting for you.
So what's the holdup? What's stopping you from getting to it? This is where we have to challenge the very things you've learned to rely on for growth.
You know all these. You've read the books, you've listened to the talks, and they've given you some great frameworks, habits, and strategies. They're valuable. They got you to where you are right now. But wait, all of it, all that secular advice, those modern gurus, the whole culture of self-reliance, that is also the cheap wine. It was a necessary step to get you here, but it works on a level that just can't unlock that next, deeper breakthrough you're looking for. So, if our old tools have hit their ceiling, we need a new source of power. We need to find the expensive wine. And getting it requires a totally different strategy, a kind of indirect, sideways technique for getting past your biggest obstacles. So here's the secret. The expensive wine isn't some new business hack. It's the deep spiritual grace and the practical, real-world wisdom you find when you study the lives of the saints. And I'm not talking about quiet, boring stories. I mean, think about the actual drama here. Assassination attempts, surviving world wars, building huge charities from absolute scratch. What? These stories have more actionable wisdom for crushing fear than 100 self-help books put together. And that leads us to the actual method here, the sideways technique. So instead of staring your fear down, trying to muscle your way through it with just your own willpower, you go around it. You don't fight it head on. You ask for backup from a higher source. And look, it's actually a really simple process. First, you find one of these incredible historical figures whose story just clicks with you. Second, you actually read their story, their biography. Then, you just ask for their help, for their prayers, like you're recruiting a powerful advocate to your team. And that opens the door to receive the spiritual strength, the grace you need to move forward without that head-to-head battle. Okay, let's put it all together. This isn't just some nice idea. It's a completely new path to get you to the breakthroughs you've been working so hard for. And when you put the two paths side by side, the difference is, well, it's night and day. The cheap wine path relies on secular books, on your own power, and that will always lead to limited, incremental growth. The expensive wine path, though, it draws from a divine source and spiritual grace, and its potential for growth is genuinely unlimited. Which brings us all the way back to where we started. We asked that question, and now the answer should be crystal clear. Here it is. They're holding you back because they are cheap wine. By their very nature, they can only take you so far. They operate on a purely human level. They can help you polish your habits, but they can't give you the grace that lets you transcend your own limits. The real breakthrough, the one you're actually looking for, comes from a deeper, spiritual source they just can't tap into. And all of this really boils down to one final, very personal question for you. This whole idea points to a single, simple action. You need champions in your corner. So, who will you invite to pray for you?
Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go in deeper into emotional yes, para more than 3 minutes. Generally 3 minutes up to now. Kung anong magaganda nangyari sa'yo sa buhay. One more question and then we're done. After each one, list down why you want their success. Di ba nilista mo yung mga pangalan ng mga taong sabi mo success?
Sabi rin mo, sir, very nice. we feel na you're not enough. So for me, that's a really big effort.
Accountant and run a business at the same time, mababaliw ka. Tapos, on top of that, you still need message in buying these 20 books, all of them, in one afternoon. This is not all. I actually bought more than this yung binili ko. Wealthy? I'm pretty sure Santa Elena, nag-start siya pretty wealthy. Study the lives of the saints.